Hello guys, Exonical here and welcome back to another video on my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to overclock your graphics card in 2018. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin this video. Now before you overclock your graphics card, you will need a few things. You will need a graphics card that can be overclocked, and you will need an overclocking software. I use MSI Afterburner. Link will be down in the description down below. Now the graphics card that I will be overclocking in this video is a GTX 1050 2GB model. You can overclock the 1060 and 1070 and 1080, and I believe you can overclock the GT 1030 as well. Now for AMD graphics cards, you should be able to overclock the Vega graphics cards and the R7 and R9. Unfortunately, you might not be able to overclock the R5 graphics cards. So if you have an R5, more than likely you cannot overclock it. Alright, make sure you're on the MSI Afterburner site. The link will be down in the description. Make sure you go ahead and go to downloads. Click download Afterburner. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to download it again. Click download Coombuster. This will test your FPS and stress your system. I already have Coombuster, so I'm not going to download it again as well. So now make sure you have MSI Coombuster open and MSI Afterburner open. Now if your clock or graphics card is overclockable, you should be able to mess with these values. If they are blanked off, then you cannot mess with them at all. So that means your card cannot be overclocked. So when you have MSI Coombuster open, make sure your resolution is set at default, and mine is 1080p, so set to your monitor's default. And then anti-aliasing, make sure that is set to off, and then click start stress test. Now make sure you go ahead and open up MSI Afterburner and have it running in the side. Now as you can see right here, I'm getting around 150-ish FPS. Now during this overclock I should get about 170. There will be a 20 FPS gain. Now when overclocking, you want to make sure it's as stable as possible. So just because it's stable here does not mean it's stable in your games. You might have crashes. I had a near 2000 megahertz overclock, and it was stable in this, but it crashed in BeamNG Drive and GTA 5 as well. So that's when you have to lower it a little bit till it's more stable. Now for me, I found that a 200 megahertz core clock and a 200 megahertz memory clock was super stable for me, and I had no crashes. But I did have a significant FPS boost. So I recommend going by values of 20 until either something, goes pink like pixelation on your screen or something like that. But do not worry, your card's not going to get damaged if that does happen, so do not worry at all. Just change it down a little bit so you do not have to worry at all. So for core clock, I'm going to move it up by 20 each time and then click apply. Alright, now you can see my computer is now froze. That is when you want to actually turn your overclock down. And as you can see, I'm now at a black screen. That is not good, but do not worry. It is pretty easy to turn this down. Alright, so I figured out what happened and I fixed it by restarting my computer. And then open up MSI Afterburner and click the little reset button right here real fast. And that fixed my overclock. Now, as you can see, that was unstable and I could not handle it. Now, it will vary on your graphics card. You could get really high, and you could be more lucky than me, and you can get up to like 400, so it will vary. And so what I'm going to do is go to a 200 megahertz clock, but I'm going to open up MSI Combustor first. Now, the first time I did overclock, I did not have that issue. It just did pink pixelation on my screen, but for some reason it went to a black screen, which was not good. So that was an issue. So let's go ahead and set my settings to 1080p. Now I'm going to set these to 200. And then click enter, and then click the little check mark. Now as you can see, my FPS jumped to about 170. That is a huge FPS boost, and it is very stable for me. And now it will vary between different graphics cards as well. Some will accept more, some won't. And now when you're fully finalized with your overclock, make sure you go ahead and go into multiple games and test it out to make sure there's no crashes. I recommend staying in the game for at least 20 to 30 minutes, and if it does not crash, then you're good to go and it is a stable overclock. So if this video did help you out, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you go ahead and leave a like as well. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below and I will get back to them as soon as possible.